What's up? This is Alex Chu coming at you with another episode. This episode, I want to talk about the foods that you should not eat if you have asthma. Okay, recently, I don't know, they found another COVID-19 variant in France. It's called IHU. I just heard that about like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And then right now, yesterday, the WHO, right, say that hey, they say, hey, you know what? Omicron is not mild. It's actually pretty serious. People are dying. People are being put into hospital because of it. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe I should make because I have asthma, right? Maybe I should say something about my asthma, because I'm making all these video about MGTOW and prophetic dreams. Maybe it's time for me to make a serious video about asthma. You gotta especially during the this virus season, right? So I'm gonna tell you like the kinds of foods that you cannot eat if you have asthma. Okay. But before I talk about that, I want to tell you my name is Alex Chu. I'm the guy who invented physical mortality rings. These are rings that you put on your small fingers during sleep. You wear them, you don't age anymore. You become physically immortal. For example, I'm already 50. In about 1 month, in 1 month, I'll be 51. See, I still look pretty young, right? My belly is really smooth. That means I never work out. If you go to my website, livemuchlonger.com, you can see lots of testimonials from Amazon customers. Most of them give me 4-star, 5-star. So if you want to stay physically young forever, you want to look like me when you're 51, livemuchlonger.com, livemuchlonger.com. Link is at the bottom of this video. Anyway, today's subject is about, what kind of food that you should not eat if you have asthma. I'm going to show you clips, okay? In the beginning of the clips, I will spend like 3 minutes to tell you, okay, the Chinese medicine, based on Chinese medicine, how asthma occurs, okay? Because Western medicine don't really explain how come asthma occurs. Chinese people have better concept of how asthma occurs. So I'll spend 3 minutes to tell you why there is asthma, how come, what causes asthma, okay? And then after that, I'll tell you what kind of foods to avoid and what kind of food you can eat, you know. And then also I will list all the foods that you should avoid and all the foods that you can eat at the bottom of this video. Okay, there's a list. You could just, I don't know, print it out. Anyway, enjoy. Okay, Western medicine can never explain how come asthma occurs. It basically just say that your hormone your hormone triggers asthma, and they can't really explain how come asthma occurs, okay? Now, this is Chinese medicine. This is the way how Chinese explains it. There's scar tissue in your throat, okay? Basically, asthma, sometimes you're born with it. Sometimes you're born with asthma, or a lot of times especially nowadays, okay, people, you grew up in a big city and the air is polluted, and there's pollutants in the air, and then if you keep on breathing that air, there's going to be damages in your throat, okay? Basically, there's scar tissue in your throat. Doesn't matter if you're born with it or it's basically scar tissue was generated because you breathe a polluted air. And the scar tissue, if the scar tissue is not very big, okay, you have very light asthma. Light asthma is like you cough a lot, you know. But then you never, like, you would not wheeze, or you would not wheeze, or you don't have any difficulty breathing, okay. But when if you don't if you don't watch out what you eat, right? Because certain foods would trigger your hormone, you know. Certain foods that you eat would trigger the hormone, and then when the body releases the hormone, it causes your scar tissue in the throat to split open, you know. When the scar tissue splits opens, right? That's when the inflammation kicks in. That's when your throat starts to inflame, and then you cannot breathe anymore, you know. then you have difficulty breathing. You start to wheeze. You know. So the way to control your asthma is basically to heal up that wound. Okay, heal up that sore inside your throat to make the at least make that scar close up, like this picture right here. At least you have to close it up. You cannot like close it up completely. Okay, it's very difficult to make it heal up all the way so that it flats out, if it becomes flat, and then the scar tissues totally disappear. That's very hard. Your goal is to at least close it up, so that when you close up the sore, right, inflammation will totally disappear. There's no more inflammation, and so you can breathe. There's no wheezing. There's no inflammation. Nothing. But what happened is the scar tissue is still there, though. This sore could open up at any time. This is sort of like a pimple. It's sort of like a pimple scar in your throat, okay? If you eat the wrong type of food, that sore would open up again. And when it opens up, there's inflammation. Then you start to wheeze and you start to have difficulty breathing. And a lot of people right now depend on inhalers. They have these inhalers that you breathe in once a day, or they have rescue inhalers like albuterol, right? And a lot of people, they just keep using the inhalers. What inhalers do is this: inhaler does not help your scar inside the throat to heal up. What inhalers does is this: it it sends chemical into your throat to numb the throat. It numbs the entire area. So what happened is, even if there's a scar, okay, even if there's a scar in your throat and it splits wide open, what happened is your throat does not reheal. It does not heal itself. I mean, if without the inhaler, right? Without the inhaler, the throat would try to heal itself. Then you have this inflammation. Then you have this crazy inflammation that causes you to wheeze and causes difficulty breathing, right? Inhaler, what it does is that it numbs your immune system. It numbs the immune system. So it tells your immune system, don't worry about it. Don't heal it. Just leave it alone. And then but the scar tissue is still there, though. That big scar is still there. And then the scar is splits wide open. You're just not healing it. That's the reason why there's no inflammation. But then, when you use albuterol, right, it only lasts like 3 to 4 hours, right? And then 3, 4 hours later, albuterol it wears out. That chemical wears out. And then what happened is that your throat will try to reheal itself again, And then when it tries to reheal itself, then you get inflammation. Then you have difficulty breathing. So then you have to use more albuterol, to tell your throat, hey, don't heal it. Just leave it alone. Don't heal it. But and then inflammation dies down again. But then the scar, the scar is still there, and it splits wide open, That's the reason why it's actually very dangerous to use albuterol. It's very dangerous to use inhalers, because it gives you this false sense of safety, You think, oh, I'm cured. No, you're not cured. The scar is there, and it's probably split wide open at this rate, And then if you're using albuterol, you think you're okay. You go out there, eat a whole bunch of different foods that causes your hormone to release, and then when you eat the wrong foods, right? It can trigger more hormone to release into the body, right? And then hormone would cause your scar to split wide open, So I think albuterol is just basically giving you the false hope, Anyway, this video is talking about what kind of food you have to avoid eating if you have asthma, okay? Anyway, our objective is to close the gap, close that scar, you know, to make it at least close up so that it doesn't split open anymore. If the scar is closed up, it doesn't split open, then there is no inflammation. Then you don't need inhalers. You don't need any kind of inhalers. You could just live your life without inhalers as long as it is closed up. Uh, in order to close up this gap, okay, this is what you do. You have to eat the right foods. You cannot eat foods that causes chemicals to causes your hormone to release. You know. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what kind of food you should not eat. Okay, you cannot eat tomatoes. Okay, tomatoes, any pasta sauce, tomatoes or any of that. Don't eat that. That causes your asthma to get worse. Uh, Try to stay away from beans. Okay, try to stay away from beans. Do not eat bacon or sausages. And actually, you can also, yeah, when you have asthma, there's a lot of things you cannot eat. It's also advised not to eat chicken. You know, chicken or pork is even worse than chicken. Chicken chicken causes a little asthma. If you eat pork, it causes a lot of asthma. Um, you cannot you cannot drink tea if you have asthma. Stay away from tea. Tea will cause your asthma to get worse. You have to stay away from all sorts of soda. You know, you cannot drink soda. Any kind of carbonated water, stay away from that. You have to stay away from beer. You know, you have to stay away from white wine and red wine. Um, yeah, you have to stay away from beef. Oh, and also another thing is you have to stay away from supermarket bread. There's a lot of preservative in supermarket bread. You know, if you make bread at home, right? If you make bread yourself at home, you notice that your bread would become stale, or it would grow mold, you know, within 2 or 3 days. You know, but if supermarket bread, that thing can last forever, man. You could buy yourself a loaf of supermarket bread and you put inside your you put inside your shelf, right? You put inside your drawer, and you can see that thing can last like a month or 2 months, man. Just there's a lot of preservative in supermarket bread. Preservative would trigger your asthma. Okay, you should not. There's a lot of things that you just can't eat. You know, anything that has preservative. Oh, stay away from like supermarket cake. Supermarket cake or donuts or especially those cake. They add a lot of preservative in that shit, man. You eat that, okay, you're gonna get asthma attack at night. You know what you should eat is rice. Okay, rice. You know, make sure you buy good brand of rice and then you wash it. Wash your rice. You know, wash the rice and then cook it. You could eat eggs. Okay, eggs. But oh, you also have to stay away from vegetable oil. Any kind of oil, it's not good. Not good for asthma. So do not eat fried eggs. Just you know, hard boiled eggs. Just eat hard boiled eggs. You can eat tuna. Okay. See if you say, oh my God, yeah, I see a lot of videos. They suggest people, you know, if you don't want to have you know if you don't want to live with asthma for the rest of your life, you should become a vegetarian. Not true. I noticed that if you eat tuna, you go to a supermarket, buy those tuna cans, right? They are not cooked in oil, but cooked in water, okay? Buy the ones that cooked in water. Those are okay. I never had an asthma attack by eating tuna. Tuna is fine. I think fish is fine. I think you could eat fish, but make sure to don't use oil. You know, you do not pan fry your fish. You know, just I don't know, cook it. Maybe grill it without oil. Any type of fish, grill it without oil, you know. Or just buy tuna can that's cooked in water. Um, you can also, oh, one super good food for asthma is jalapeno. You know those jalapeno pepper? Yeah, buy those. Um, those are great. You know, those are great for asthma. Oh, also you cannot eat vegetables like, I don't know, pickles. I mean, not pickles. Cucumber or zucchini or bell peppers. Oh, you got to stay away from those, man. Those are just like tomatoes, man. Oh my God, it causes you asthma to flare up. You should not eat carrots. You know, carrots also cause your asthma to flare up. Oh, you could eat potatoes. You know, potatoes, but make sure you cook it well. You make sure you cook your potatoes well done. You know, if any part of the potato is raw, that could trigger your asthma. That could trigger asthma. Um, what else is there? Oh, you have to stay away from those artificial bouillons. You know, I'm talking about chicken stock or beef stock. You know, when you drink soup, right? Those artificial bouillons that you could buy in supermarket, oh, those are very harmful to asthma. Very harmful. There's chemical inside, you know. Stay away from any kind of soup stock, artificial bouillon, you know. That doesn't mean you cannot drink soup. You know what? I noticed one soup that you could drink all the time that will not trigger asthma. That's miso soup, Japanese miso soup. You could buy some miso and buy. They have a ajinomoto. It's called ajinomoto. It's in Japanese in Asian supermarket, where you could buy it online. Ajinomoto. You could. It's a bonito stock. You know, artificial bonito stock. That never triggered my asthma. I drink miso soup every day. I love it. It never ever triggers asthma. You could eat tofu. You know. Um, you could eat a little bit of beans, a little bit. You know. And so I always drink water. And you know what? Just drink water. Oh, you know what? You know what is so good for asthma? Whiskey. I'm an alcoholic. I drink whiskey. You know, so every morning I get up and drink some whiskey. And if you eat like this, okay, you will never ever have to deal with asthma ever again. You know, you could throw away all your inhalers but you have to make sure that the scar close up though. If the scar is split wide open, no, your 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 inflammation will never die down. You know, I sell cell realignment machine that help you at least close up the wound. You know, at least close up that scar. Once you closed it up, then you can just do what I say. You know, just eat the right foods. You know, uh, I'm gonna put all the foods into a list, okay, and I'll put it, you know, I'll write down all the foods at the bottom of this video, so you can just print it out, okay, and just be very careful from now on, you know. Trust me, once you start to eat the right foods, you will never ever have to deal with inhalers again. Another thing is, so you know, what I hate about the inhalers is that it gives you a sense of false hope. You know, you think, oh, you know, rescue inhaler, especially albuterol, right? You think, oh, you get a few puff, right? Oh, you're suddenly you're invincible, and then you start to do all the wrong things. You know, you get on the bus, you sit beside somebody who's really smelly. You know, somebody who has a lot of cologne, or put on lots of perfume, or you go on the street and there's a lot of you know, air pollution, and you're totally okay with it. You know why you're okay? Because you just puffed some albuterol like 3-4 hours ago. That's the reason why you're okay, because your throat is not healing up. Because albuterol tells your throat not to heal. Yeah, just leave it alone. Don't heal it. But the scar, the split is still there, you know. And that's what makes it so dangerous because you don't heal it, the split would just grow bigger and bigger, you know. And then one day, shit, one day something happens, like, I don't know, something happens, you eat the wrong foods, you know. You eat, for example, honey cake, just like what I said, those cakes that they sell in the supermarket, they're very dangerous. It's full of preservative inside, you know. You eat the wrong cake, and suddenly, wow, your throat flares up, and you cannot control your inflammation. Then you end up in the hospital, you know. That's the reason why so many people are dying. That's the reason why those inhalers could only cause more death, you know, because it gives you a sense of false hope, you know. You think you're Superman because, oh, suddenly this albuterol works. No, it doesn't work. It's basically telling your throat not to heal it, not to heal the wound. You know, it's giving you a sense of false hope. You know, very dangerous. You know, so. But yeah, the dilemma is this though. But then if you don't use the inhalers, some people's asthma is so severe that it's chronic. You know, you're dealing with it 24/7. Imagine you have to wheeze, you wheeze, you know, all the time, even during sleep, and that sucks. You know, that's the reason why I experienced that before. You know, before I invented a cell realignment machine. Damn, I was wheezing all the time. I cannot control my asthma. You know. But then once I got the machine, once I invented a machine, it closed up my wound. Then I realized once you closed it up, then, you know, as long as you close up that wound, you know, then inflammation would just disappear, you know. Then you could breathe, you could talk like a normal person. But if you remember, you can only close up the wound. You cannot really get rid of that scar. The scar is still there, you know. It's very, very tough to get rid of all the scar tissue over there. So what if you start to eat the wrong foods, you know? Let's say, oh, you know what? Oh, you feel invincible. I feel invincible. Oh yeah, I'm healed. Okay, I'm just gonna go fucking drink tea and eat sausages, eat bacon, and go get me some supermarket bread. And you know, you start to eat all the wrong foods. Oh yeah, another food you cannot eat is any kind of barbecue sauce, man. That shit is dangerous, man. Barbecue sauce, because there's I don't know, barbecue sauce. There's char inside. You know, there's a lot of char inside. Char would trigger your asthma like almost instantly. You know, you eat that shit, oh, your throat would flare up like almost immediately. No, what I'm saying is your goal is to at least close that wound. You know, to at least make it close up. Okay. Um, you my our goal is not to heal it completely. So you know, there's no more scar. No, this is hard. That's really hard. At least to close up the wound. You know. But then remember, the wound is still there. You just closed it up. That's all. So you have to stay away from the foods that could trigger asthma. As long as you stay away from those bad foods that I mentioned, you know, then that your wound would stay closed. You know, you understand, your wound would stay closed. It would not open back up. Then you could breathe like a normal person. You don't have inflammation. But honestly speaking, without my machine, it's pretty hard to make it stay closed. You know, because I'm without right now I'm sleeping with the machine. Uh, I have my cell realignment machine like inside my quilt. You know, it's always I don't know. It's like I always sleep with it, and the machine. If the machine is on, even if you know, in the middle of the night I start to cough. When I start to cough, I know the wound is splitting back open. It's splitting open again. You know, but if the machine is near my throat, as long as the machine is near my lungs, the machine will help me reheal the wound. You know, it could help me heal it back up. You know, so eventually the wound would close up again. That I could breathe again, you know. I always wake up in the morning, no problem, you know. Feel like a normal, you know, just a normal person. Oh, another thing so bad is peanuts. Stay away from nuts, you know. Anyway, that's all I want to say for this episode. Have a nice day.